He was humiliated in front of an entire cabin, forced out of a seat he paid for, all because of the color of his skin. As they smirked, whispered, and watched him walk to the back of the plane, none of them knew they had just made the gravest mistake of their lives. This wasn't a glitch or a misunderstanding. This was something darker, something too many still ignore. What began as a routine flight became a silent war of prejudice, power, and consequence. By the time the plane landed, reputations would shatter, secrets would unravel, and those who mocked him would be left speechless. The terminal at Gate 19 buzzed with the hum of early boarding, garment bags rustling, suitcase wheels gliding, and elite passengers murmuring about upgrades. Among them stood Marcus Caldwell, tall, composed, in a tailored charcoal suit that exuded quiet authority. He carried a sleek leather briefcase, a vintage watch, and a boarding pass for Seat 1 tucked inside his jacket. He waited calmly, not because he lacked urgency, but because he never needed to prove his place. The boarding call chimed for first class. Marcus stepped forward, handing his pass to a gate agent named Tara. Her smile flickered, uncertain. Her eyes darted to her screen, then back to him, her posture stiffening. "Sir," she said cautiously, "there's a minor seating issue. Could you step aside while we resolve it?" Marcus studied her, his face unreadable. He nodded and moved aside. Tara whispered in her headset, her voice clipped. Another agent appeared, glancing toward the back of the plane. Tara returned. "There's been a seating manifest update. Due to equipment balance, you've been reassigned to 27C, coach, window seat." Marcus didn't flinch. "I purchased a first-class ticket 3 weeks ago. Non-refundable." Tara nodded, avoiding his gaze. "The system reconfigures for balance. It's not personal." Marcus's voice stayed low, steady. "I never assumed it was." She offered a voucher. He declined without a word. As he glanced at the jetway, a loud man in an expensive suit, white mid-40s suit, laughing into his phone, strode past. Tara waved him through without checking his pass. A crew member handed him champagne as the door closed. Marcus turned to Tara. "So, I've been removed, and someone else occupies my seat?" She didn't answer. A supervisor, Greg, approached. "Is there a concern, sir?" Marcus replied evenly. "Your team reassigned my paid seat without notice, gave a vague excuse, and won't say who's in it." Greg's response was rehearsed. The aircraft needed balance adjustments. "It's standard." Marcus pressed. "Who authorized it?" Greg deflected. "That's internal." Marcus pulled out a sleek phone, typed a single line, redirect flag. "Seating override. Confirm the reason, and send it." Tara's screen beeped a minute later. Her eyes widened. She whispered to Greg, whose jaw tightened. They glanced at Marcus, uneasy. "Sir, could you step to the customer service counter? Our regional supervisor needs a word." Marcus nodded, walking past curious passengers, some whispering about upgrade abuse. At the counter, the supervisor stared at her screen, stunned. Terminals dinged in unison. She swallowed. "Thank you for your patience, sir. There's been an error. You're reinstated in 1A." Back in his seat, Marcus felt the cabin's hush turn hostile. A senior flight attendant, Karen, approached, her eyes scanning him with skepticism. She didn't speak to him, but leaned toward another passenger, smirking. Marcus stayed calm, but the judgment burned. Across the aisle, an older man chuckled, muttering, "Guess they're letting anyone up here now." His seatmate laughed lazily, sipping wine. Karen handed a drink to the man in 1B, Paul, who'd been eyeing Marcus suspiciously. "Upgraded your scotch, Mr. Paul," she cooed. Paul nodded, still staring at Marcus. The slights piled up, a skipped welcome, a whispered jab. Bet that seat wasn't his. Marcus recorded every glance, every withheld courtesy. A younger attendant, Lily, offered him sparkling water, her voice cautious, as if correcting a mistake she didn't make. The cabin's complicity grew louder. Coordinated humiliation didn't need volume, just agreement. Then Karen returned, her tone syrupy. "Sir, please accompany me to the front." 2 security officers loomed behind her. "There's a manifest issue. We need to reconfirm your boarding information." Marcus held up his pass, and seat 1A was clear. Karen ignored it, nodding to the officers. "Sir, please comply. This is a federal aircraft." Marcus stood, briefcase in hand, and walked down the aisle, the cabin watching. Some whispered, others looked away. One muttered as he passed. In the galley, Karen's smile vanished. "We're resolving this quickly," she said coldly. Marcus typed on his matte black phone. Escalation protocol. Gate 19 verification breach. Request confirmation. A response flashed. Received. Confirmation in motion. Karen's jaw stiffened. Passengers speculated. Some claimed he'd switched seats, others that he was a standby. The captain's voice crackled, announcing a procedural delay. Karen's tablet flashed red. She stepped into the galley, whispering urgently. Marcus returned to 1A, the cabin shifting uneasily. A maintenance worker appeared, tablet in hand, frowning at the manifest. He approached Karen, his voice confused. Her response was sharp, silencing him. Marcus noticed that 1B was now empty. Paul had been quietly moved. A man in a navy blazer placed a black briefcase in 1B, buckled it in, and vanished. The crew ignored it, but their movements grew tense. Marcus typed, "Cabin 1A." An object was placed in the adjacent seat. Unaccompanied. Flight 108. Possible illicit transfer. Escalate to Protocol 5. Karen's next announcement was formal. Skylux reserves premium services for guests meeting elevated standards. Please remain seated during our recalibrated service interval. A woman recorded the scene, but an attendant forced her to delete it. Marcus saw the pattern. Remove, distract, deliver, suppress, secure. The briefcase was no luggage. It was leverage tied to a plot to sabotage his $2 billion Skylux acquisition. Marcus typed, "Devices landed. Package unsecured. Surveillance suppression confirmed. Proceed." A cockpit override flagged him as a priority executive. Karen's tablet flashed. Recall instruction. Priority individual in Theobin. Halt enforcement. Her composure cracked. The crew stopped hovering. The briefcase sat unguarded. Marcus stood, walking to the galley. Karen stammered, "Sir, there's been a misunderstanding." A crew member on a call confirmed Marcus's status, apologizing mid-sentence. Marcus addressed the cabin, voice calm but final. "I'm Marcus Caldwell, chairman of Caldwell Enterprises. 3 days ago, we acquired a controlling interest in Skylux Airlines. This aircraft and its personnel are under that governance. The passenger in 1B, James Carter, disembarked and is detained by federal investigators. The briefcase contains evidence of financial misconduct tied to my acquisition. It will remain untouched until authorities retrieve it. Your actions, altering seats, discrediting me, tampering with security, will be reviewed." Some cooperated, others stood by. That silence is documented. Gasps filled the cabin. Karen paled. The man who'd mocked Marcus stared at his hands. A woman who'd laughed sat frozen. Karen's tablet was locked. Her clearance was revoked. She whispered into her headset, "Understood. I'll report for questioning." Her reputation, firm, fair, crumbled. She'd acted on bias, assuming Marcus didn't belong. The crew faced reviews. One had laughed, another ignored him. All was recorded. As the plane landed, regulatory agents waited at the gate. The mocker, Richard Hayes, a real estate tycoon, learned his Skylux privileges were revoked. His phone buzzed with unanswered calls. Lily, the hesitant attendant, was cleared. She'd verified Marcus's ticket. Karen stood alone, name tag gone, shoulders slumped. She approached Marcus at the gate, admitted her bias, and revealed she'd resigned to study race and power dynamics. Marcus said, "Start with that," and left. The story broke globally, fueling debates on bias and corporate conduct. Marcus overhauled Skylux's training, adding AI to flag staff discrimination. Karen, now Laura, spoke at seminars, founding a nonprofit to reform biased education. Marcus never saw her again. His goal wasn't exposure but truth. The flight ended, but its echoes reshaped decisions, bending justice toward redemption. What hit you hardest in Marcus's journey? How do you view violence and injustice in daily life? Share your stance in the comments. We want to hear your voice.